Hi guys, welcome to day 6 of the NaNoWriMo Tarot Challenge. I am your host, Sierra, at East of the Moon Tarot, and these videos are not being hosted or sponsored by anyone, but I am posting all of them in the Divination Guild group on Facebook for this teaching extravaganza that we are doing for the month of October. So, it's the perfect timing to be outlining your novel for NaNoWriMo next month. That's National Novel Writing Month for those of you that haven't watched the previous episodes. And if you haven't, probably go back because, yeah, I do ramble and talk shit a whole lot. But there's also some good information kind of nested down in all of that. So, on day 6, we are getting to the heart of the story. I hope that all of you have been taking notes and kind of, writing down what you've been getting so far for your story, because you are going to probably need to refer back to your day 2 notes. You might need all of your notes for this one, depending on how much you remember from the previous day's exercises. I will be referencing my notes from the previous day as well as my notes for today. I'm ADD, I ramble, and I will get way off topic. That's why I've got my computer open every time I'm doing one of these, because I will just totally forget what I'm doing when there's a camera in front of me. It just makes me go, it dumbs me down by 20 or 30 IQ points when you put a camera in front of me. So, welcome. I don't know what deck that I'm using yet today. I haven't decided, or for today's exercise, because it's actually the same day that I recorded episodes 3 and 4 and 5. So I'm probably going to pause this and grab a deck. I might use one of the ones that I've already used, but I've been really feeling pulling out my decks and using different parts of my collection. So, the heart of the story. This is a 7-card spread to help you determine what your story centers on. What is going to be the focus of the story? What, the meat, essentially. This is the really kind of if you boil it all down, this is the summary that's going to be on the back of your book, basically. So feel free to just pull one card for each question in the spread. Or if you want more information, if you want to get really, really detailed and really, really fleshed out with this particular exercise, feel free to pull 2 to 3 cards for each question. If you are new to tarot, or if you're new to using this kind of process, I don't recommend doing more than 1 card at this point. But I know there are some people, like Elin, who just really, really like to have half of the deck out and, just really get into it. So if you're one of those people and you really like big spreads, this is one of those days where you can just go nuts and pull lots of cards. Probably don't get too excessive with it, though. 2 or 3 cards per question is quite enough. So, let me grab a deck. I'm going to pause real quick, and we will get started. And I'm back. So, I decided for this exercise, I'm going to be using the Sinking Wasteland Tarot. I have not used this deck at all since I got it, which is kind of sad. It doesn't happen to me very often. I'm pretty intentional in the decks that I buy, and I usually don't impulse or panic buy or whatever. And that's not really what happened here. I didn't impulse buy it. I didn't panic buy it. I really liked the artwork, and then it got to me after I purchased it. And it was one of those rare decks that I just really didn't connect with right out of the box. So this will be my attempt to kind of connect with this deck that I haven't used at all. It's still brand new. And I think if I don't connect with it after today, I'm probably going to list it somewhere for sale on one of the tarot marketplaces or something like that, or maybe do some sort of swap or trade or something with it, because I don't like to just have decks sitting around on my shelf taking up room if I'm not going to get any kind of use out of those. So let me give this just a quick shuffle, because I think the cards were probably still in the full order. The Fool was the one that was on top when I pulled this out. I'm going to shuffle this several times. Alright, so the very first question that we have for this spread is, what is your hero after? So what is it that they are trying to get? This could be a resolution. This could be, you know, if you're writing like an adventure or something like that, it could be a literal item that they are trying to get. It kind of depends on what kind of story you're writing, where you decide to take this particular question. It can, like I said, it can be something literal and physical, or it can be something more intangible, like maybe your hero is after love, or maybe they're after answers, or whatever. So give your deck a good shuffle. I already gave you permission to pull a couple of cards for each position if you want to. Let's see. What is my heroine trying to get? The Emperor. So in episode 5, remember we were talking about our villain, and I'm trying to remember what position the Emperor came up in. I think the Emperor was our villain's greatest weakness. So what is our heroine after? She's after the Emperor. She wants to find her foe's greatest weakness. Very cool. I love it when tarot gives me little surprises like that, where it's like, oh, we like this game, we're going to play this. So, let's see. What secondary goals does your hero have, is question number 2. So a secondary goal or a secondary motivation is usually, not just in stories, but in life, we don't usually just have one reason for doing something. Usually there's layers to why we are doing something. We already know that my heroine's primary motivation is the Queen of Cups, her lover. So what is the secondary goal, like, or goals? And this is one of those questions where I might encourage people to pull a couple of cards, because it's good for you to have a well-rounded understanding of who your character is and all of their motivations, not just the main focus of the novel. So let's see. 3 of Swords. It's about heartbreak. It is her lover. It's her lover. She lost her. That's the secondary motivation. Or the secondary goal was maybe to repair her broken heart. It's so sad. I don't think I need 2 cards for that one. Okay. Question 3. What challenges is my heroine going to face? 5 of Wands. And we've seen this card has come up as a repeat several times. So the 5 of Wands is one of the conflict cards in tarot. You know, so she's going to have an uphill battle. She's going to have a lot of enemies. She's going to have a lot of enemies to face. And again, this ties in really well with what we were seeing in the last episode with our villain and our villain's you know, motivations and things. The 5 of Wands, I can't remember what position it came up in, but the 5 of Wands came up, I think maybe like it's her strength or something. And then it also kind of ties into that 9 of Cups card, at least the way that I interpreted the 9 of Cups card. So our heroine is coming up against all of these like little toadies and sycophants of the sorceress. which is currently what I'm calling the antagonist in my story, the sorceress. So, what consequences will your hero have to face for their actions? Because remember too, no matter who you are, there's consequences for all of your actions. And everyone is the hero in their own story. That doesn't mean that they're the hero in everyone's story. And you know what? Sometimes you and your hero are going to be the villain in someone else's story. So there's going to be consequences, even for your good actions. Even for your hero or heroine's good actions. There's consequences to everything. Let's see what hers are. They're going to be good. They're going to be bad. Gonna have to play around with this one a little bit. The Fool as the consequences is interesting. I think there's some dynamic places that I can take this, but this is going to take me sitting down and actually journaling and really like digging deep into this to figure out how I'm going to interpret this as a consequence. Given that I'm going to have to put in extra effort to that, let's see if I'm going to pull a clarifier for that, for the consequences card, because the Fool is going to give me not trouble. I like a good challenge, and especially one of the reasons I do exercises like this, and one of the reasons that I sat down and made this course, or whatever you want to call it, challenge, is because I am ADD. I get bored really, really easily with things, and I love tarot, and I love how you can do just so much with it, but I often feel very limited with my use of tarot because I'm a professional, and you know, you just kind of get asked the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So yeah, I like a good challenge, but I am going to make it a little easier on myself and see. Okay, so more consequences. The Six of Swords. That's much easier to read as a consequence. I can read this as banishment, which is very easy. Okay, and actually, the Six of Swords and the Fool, both cards about journeys, kind of works. Okay, so how is my villain going to try to stop my hero? Should be on card 5 right now. If you're only doing one card for each question. The World. So my villain is pulling out all the stops. Like, this is end of the world, life or death kind of thing. So she is going to throw everything at my heroine to try to keep her from her goal. Let's look at my villain's motivation now. Ooh, my villain's motivation is the Devil. I love the Devil. It's one of my favorite cards. It's one of the cards that I probably interpret the least traditionally, because I get excited when I see the Devil. I feel like everyone in the whole world just about is super, super rigid and uptight about everything. Nobody takes enough time to play and be mischievous and be spontaneous and just let themselves live. We are always like restricting ourselves and limiting ourselves, and you know, honestly, I love the Devil because I love revelry. I love the bacchanalian kind of feeling that I get from this card. The Devil doesn't have to be a bad thing. But as our hero's motivation, it probably, or as our villain's motivation, it probably is more of the, she wants the control. You know, she wants to be the Devil. She wants the control. She wants the power. You know, so she does probably come from a more traditional kind of meaning of this card as her motivation. Alright, so what would my villain gain by defeating my hero? That's our last question, and then I will let you guys go. I'm trying to keep these videos shorter, less than 20 minutes, because I used all of my cell phone data to upload episode, or day 2, all of it. 9.37 gigabytes, I think. It was bad. Alright, she's gonna gain strength. And typically, you know, strength isn't necessarily interpreted as literal strength, but I am going to take this very literally and say that overcoming our hero makes our villain stronger, because it works with the type of story that I'm writing. So there we have it. This is the heart of my story. We now know a little bit more about our hero, we know a little bit more about our villain, and we know a little bit more about what's going to happen in the story and how these two clash and conflict, and that gives us a lot more meat and a lot more to play with moving forward. So I will see you guys on day 7. Thank you for tuning in and joining me. This has been a very fun process so far, but I'm kind of ready to pack it in and start doing some client work tonight. So see you guys later. Goodbye.